Okay, hold on.
Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. Welcome to another wonderful Social Saturday chat. We are here, and thank you for bearing with us during the technical difficulties. We did have a link issue, but it has been corrected. Thank you, Mac, for putting that out there. I'm actually going to put the link in the group chat for those of you that watch the group chat, so you all make sure you see it there as well. But let us know where you're watching from, if you're team live or team replay, what city or country you're watching from. And this is going to be a great conversation, and we look forward to everyone adding to it. We're going to add a link in the comments shortly to join us on stage so you can add to the conversation. But before I do, quick reminder that if you're not following us on our Social Saturday chat page, do me a favor and give us a follow on that page. And if you're already following us, make sure you hit that little bell in the top right-hand corner so you get notified of all the events that we do every Saturday, as well as all the events the other co-hosts do during the week. And as always, if you want to check out some of our past episodes, go to your favorite podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, and there you can check out some of the great people that we've interviewed, the amazing topics we've tackled, and really just the phenomenal networking events that we have had where people have connected, collaborated, and even found jobs. So with that being said, we are going to do some quick introductions, and we'll go around the room here, land on Mac, and let us take off on this great topic about digital boundaries in a digital world, because the digital world is a lot more in our homes than it used to be. And so boundaries are very important for that. With that being said, for those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Felipe Cofino. I'm an HR executive, a career coach, founder of Cofino Consulting, and where we offer HR services like training, recruitment, and workplace coaching for executives. I'm also a published author of co-author of two business books, but most recently an international best-selling author of a children's book called Miranda and Max that I'm about to publish in Spanish. It's uploaded, it's ready to go. We're just fixing the QR code, and it will be launched hopefully by tomorrow or Monday. So look out for the Spanish version of Miranda and Max, and soon to follow Brady and the One-Eyed Cat, of course. With that being said, I look forward to connecting with all of you all, and I'm going to pass it over to the amazing Martha. Over to you, Martha.
Thank you so much. And I want to tell all the friends in the comments, like Coach Carey said, we are the show. You're absolutely right. Everyone in the comments, you are the show, okay? So I want to thank you so much for sending me the message also. For some reason, I'm having tech issues as always, as you guys already know. So my replies were going even more slow. So thank you for your patience. For friends that don't know me, my name is Martha Lobo-Samaya. I'm the founder of Connect Impact Hub, where our mission is ending homelessness, and we're doing that through collaboration. Away from that, I'm a mom to a teenager and a fur baby who you'll see pop in and out. And I'll pass the mic over to Joel for introduction, and then we'll jump right in then we'll go over to Mac, and then we'll jump right in.
Thank you, Martha. Sorry about all that. Apologies to everyone. What happened there? As we speak, I'm currently waiting for a response from the other side, which we will not name. And without further ado, my name is Joel, and I run a company based around supporting people with autism and showcasing how the world is missing out, really, on people on the spectrum with what they and of course me as well can do. But Mac while I go and rip some Riverside arse.
And there, I thought you weren't mentioning any names. That didn't last long. Oh dear. Well, welcome everybody to Social Saturday Chat. Apologies about the wonderful delays, but we will be on StreamYard for the rest of this month because it has been way more reliable than the other platform we've been using. Social Saturday Chat. I'm excited this week to talk about boundaries in the digital world because it is something that a lot of people end up with a lot of additional stress and anxiety because they don't set boundaries. So it's going to be an interesting discussion. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Mac Laupsher, and I founded the LinkedInExpert.com, which effectively helps experts in their own right become the go-to experts here on LinkedIn. I will be announcing it near the end, hopefully with a QR code with access to my new app that I've just launched, which is really just to help you on a day-to-day basis with how do you manage this whole LinkedIn thing, and teach you some of the habits that most people don't know, because unfortunately most people see what other people do and assume that's what they need to do. So if you want access to that, stick around. But with that, let's get the party started. Let us know in the comments where you're joining us from. For those of you that are regulars, tag somebody in the comments that normally shows up, in case they showed up during our technical difficulties and disappeared. So let's get the party started. So first, what I want to do is just go around, ask what the title "Boundaries in the Digital World" kind of what comes to mind when you think about that as a topic. Drop it in the comments. We'll share your comments on screen, or if you want to come and join us on screen, we'll drop the link so that you can join us on screen in the comments. But I'm going to go to Martha first to ask you what comes to mind when you think digital boundaries.
Yeah, that's such a good question. Okay, so digital boundaries, I do scroll. Okay, I do scroll and scroll and scroll. And it is addicting, but like having boundaries with yourself, right? Because you can really just spend a whole couple of hours just scrolling. YouTube in itself, right? People call it like YouTube University. You can learn so much just from watching the videos. But on a like business side, you have to set boundaries. You have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to use the restroom. So just being courteous of time. And also, if you're on social media, like just scrolling, you're going to get headaches. Your eyes are going to be, the vision, you're going to have issues with that. So there's like health issues that come with that. Your head's going to hurt. And I'm telling you because I've experienced all of this from scrolling and just looking. So just having that self-control for you to manage the boundaries for yourself with the digital world. Sorry, my tongue here. But also another thing that comes up is on the business side of things when you're connecting with people online. Sometimes like I had a recent scenario where I couldn't make a coffee chat. I've had a rough week, and there was a lot of persistence. Reschedule, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna reschedule, but I can't reschedule for this week. There's no way. But there was a lot of persistence. So like when holding boundaries for yourself, like you can't respond to every message. And I know Philippe has mentioned this before. So that's another conversation. I'm going off subject. I'll pass it over to you, Felipe, because I know you have a couple things there to share.
No, you brought up some great points, Martha. And Mac, this is such a relevant title or topic because so much of us are struggling with it, I think. And it's one of those things where, we talk about communication so much, but it goes back to saying clear communication and expectations. People can't read your mind. As much as people think you can, you can't do it. I haven't seen it happen, and I've tried, trust me. But it's communicating when you're available and when you're not available. I actually have actually, I'm going to grab it and show it to you to prove you. Hold on 1 second. It's right here. But I put this on my door whenever I'm in a meeting or don't want to be interrupted. Now, right now, I don't want to be interrupted by my dogs because, it's Social Saturday Chat. But I have this. Now, it probably reads backwards. It says, please do not disturb, meeting in progress. Now, not many people have this on their home door. I took this from an old job that I used to have when I had interviews. It never worked. People still knocked on my office door. Here, it works wonderfully. This is part of my boundary that I set for people so they know, hey, don't come barging in to ask me a question. I'm actually doing something important. But again, back in the day, working remotely wasn't a thing as much. So people didn't have to create digital boundaries at work and at home. It was usually just at work. But the other thing is that, the digital boundaries that you create is your calendar, having it do not disturb. I put on do not disturb on my phone sometimes when I need some quiet time for myself or because I'm doing something. And it protects your personal time. And like Martha said, that instant reply pressure, I always say don't let LinkedIn bully you because, again, you are not necessarily working for everyone that messages you on LinkedIn. You don't have dates to your boss. You don't have commitments to your family. These are people you connected with. Now, if you made a commitment with them, follow through. But if people are just reaching out to you, again, you got to prioritize. All right? I'm not saying this to boast, but when you have 36,000 followers, you can only imagine how many people might be messaging. There's no way, unless I made LinkedIn my full-time job, that I'm going to get back to people in what I call Gen Z time. Like instant reply. Like, you didn't reply to me. I'm like, you just messaged me. I'm sorry that I went to the bathroom for 2 minutes and came back, and that wasn't fast enough for you. Now, obviously, I'm generalizing. Gen Z, don't hate me for that comment. But people's expectations have changed. So you got to set the clear expectations saying, hey, either do not disturb or I'm not going to be available during these times, and put it on your calendar and block it out. And the last thing I'll say is fostering that respect for digital relationships. People are going to cross your boundary if you do not tell them what that boundary is. Okay? I gave an example yesterday, not the best analogy, but I saw a video of this. This person was making this amazing artistic drawing on the sidewalk. When he went to get some more supplies, somebody started walking across it. The person got all upset and said, I'm sorry, I didn't know that you were still working on it. Now, the person could have put up some cones, a sign saying, hey, don't step here, but there was no communication to know that there was a boundary there. How is that person to know that they weren't allowed to step there? It was a sidewalk. People write chalk stuff all the time. So that person had to communicate that boundary. Same thing in digital world. You got to use the tools at your disposal. Do not disturb, blocking your calendar, having a calendar block that says quiet time or just focus time. So there's tools out there. There's a lot of questions I'm sure you all have, but I see that we have Bobby Clark on stage here. With that, I'm going to pass it over to, is it Joel or Mac? I forget now. Who? Joel, did you already go? Good. Over to you, Joel.
Well, it depends what you asked me. I've already gone. I already went and gave my mouse to the other platform. But I will sort that because I never let anything go. That's my thing. So digital boundaries, I tried to set them, particularly on Facebook. Was the first platform I tried, and it failed abysmally. People kept trying to find my number, my profile, and then think when they failed to do that, they search on Google. So the boundary came down like the wall of Jericho, essentially. And I've never really managed to never really managed to do never really managed to have any never really managed to rebuild it, but I would like to, because I have a life, believe it or not, outside of a 16-inch screen. So I would like to rebuild my boundaries, or at least try to. So yeah, this conversation will be very helpful. Mac.
Awesome stuff. So, digital boundaries. I'd love the people that are watching right now to kind of drop in the comments what digital boundaries mean to them, because you are part of this conversation. Drop in what struggles you have with regards to digital boundaries. Some of the things that you may use as tools in order to make sure that you have digital boundaries. And we'll get to our guests on the stage in a second. And Felipe has been sharing the link as well in the comments. So please come and join us up on stage. If you do come up on stage, introduce yourself. As we always ask, share a fun fact and tell us what your question or comment is, and aim for about 2 minutes so that we can keep the conversation flowing, and also allow as many people to come up and join us on stage as well. So when it comes to digital boundaries, one of the things that I find, and Martha, you mentioned this earlier about the death scroll, where people can get stuck in it quite easily, and I find a lot of people, whether it's LinkedIn or any other digital platform, it's so easy to scroll, get stuck into watching videos or reading things, and then before you know it, you look at the time and you think, oh, I've only been on here for like 10, 15 minutes, but a couple of hours have gone past. And it's really important that one of the things that I find now on iPhone is I can set timers, and you can actually go into settings on different platforms and say, this is how much time I allow myself on that platform, or just set a timer on your phone to go off so that you have something that breaks the pattern, as it were. And one of the things that was a tip that I shared a few weeks ago, when we're on LinkedIn, everybody is, hounded by the people that connect, and then they pitch you immediately. And we feel this obligation to respond to people. One of the kind of default responses that I find really useful is being able to literally just put a comment that goes, hey, thanks, I've got your message. If this is of interest or something that we are looking at right now, we'll respond within 72 hours. Thanks so much for your message. And that kind of leaves you with a get out of jail free card, as it were, because if it is something that's of interest, then they know you will respond, but you don't have to then get a barrage of these automated messages as well, because there's human intervention. You're not going to get the next message in their automated campaign that then hounds you and tells you, hey, can you jump on that call? Can you jump on that call? I find it quite interesting that a lot of people assume just because they've connected and messaged you, they're now entitled to get into your diary or you book into their diary. And it's that thing of not having an attachment or guilt, because your time is just as important as anybody else's. So it's really important that you safeguard that. I'm just having a look at comments over here. Have we got any that
Mac, while you're looking at that real quick, one thing I want to add is, I don't know how many of you all have had this, but I've had some people just be trifling and they just send a calendar invite. They get your email address and they put a calendar invite on your calendar. And it's like, looking forward to talking about this. Thank you for meeting with me. And you never spoke to the person. And I'm like, you know what? A+ for being sneaky and sly, but that's kind of creepy. and it's misleading, and I don't want to do business with someone who does that. So I do think that there's some people that cross those boundaries, even if you have them up. And the people pleaser comment, I think, that's a question we have to ask ourselves. Are you a one or not? If you are, it's something to work on.
Absolutely. And it's interesting because what you just said there now, I mean, Leslie commented about, and then people get ticked off who delivered the communication when you don't meet their request. And it's so funny that, people have got, I don't know if you've seen this, but in email campaigns, people are doing these things where it's like, well, I've attempted to speak to you 3 times now. This is the last message that I'm sending you. You're going to miss. And it's like this guilt trip that they put on you when they're trying to kind of pull you in to get that fear of missing out kind of thing. And, there's so many better ways of communicating. And, if you've had those, we'd love to know, how do you deal with those when people send those to you, or do you just ignore them? Have you got a kind of a great response that you've utilized? Please drop those into the comments. But while we're there, let's go to our guest speakers. Bobby Clark, please unmute, introduce yourself, let us know a fun fact, and also what are your thoughts on this topic, or your contributions or questions. And it's over to you, sir.
Hey, good day, you all. I'm coming to you all from Savannah, Georgia, USA, just on the Atlantic coast here. The weather is a little bit humid, but it is very, very, very nice to be out and enjoy the day. I want to thank you all, Mac and Philip, Joel, Gregory, my friend Martha, for hosting me today and allowing me to come on and speak. Fun fact about me is that this month, March, is my birthday, my birth month. So happy birthday to me, everybody. Thank you so much for that. I'm a financial coach, and what I do, I help professionals who are stressed by their finances to a happier, more confident life. When it comes to digital, privacy or boundaries, one of the things I think about is overall in life, boundaries are in place to reduce the chaos. And one of the underlying things about the boundaries, it is that it allows someone, or is designed to protect or respect your private space. I was thinking about the times that when boundaries are violated in my life, driving down the street and someone is in your lane, they're in your boundaries. Or, if you are talking to someone and somebody, interrupts your conversation, they're in your space. And the same thing happens a lot in digital. When I'm online, you're getting these pop-ups, or, you didn't ask for that, but they just show up. A lot of times on LinkedIn, especially where I spend a lot of my time, you get these invites, these DMs from that you don't know where they're coming from. And like you said, Mac, you can respond to them in a courteous way, outlining your boundaries, telling them where your boundaries are. But a lot of times they just disrespect that and continue to push their product, or to continue to push their idea. And that's really aggravating to me. I just, it makes it hard for me to respond to them, even if they may have a product that I'm interested in. I want to know more about the product, but because of the way they initiated and broke my boundary, then I tend to hesitate or be cautious about even responding, to them by asking more questions about what they have. So, and for me, I try to respect other people's boundaries. If I send an email out and they don't respond immediately, I give them time, because people are busy. People forget a lot of times. So yeah, I try to respect that. And a lot of times when I look at myself, a lot of times I overlook an email or I forget to respond. So it's human to be, to delay or not respond immediately, because that's how life is. But we live in an environment where everybody's want to do it, right now, immediately. I want it right now. We call it the microwave type environment, where you just want something hot and ready right then. But a lot of times it doesn't happen that way. So that's my take on it, on digital boundaries.
Well, Bobby, it's interesting how when it comes to setting the boundaries, it is so important that we understand what our boundaries are. And I get with the whole respect side of things, and unfortunately, a lot of people, it's like they weren't taught the basic etiquette or respect, what respect looks like. So one of the hardest lessons for myself has been realizing that if people are stepping over your boundaries, or you keep feeling like, man, why do people keep doing this, is asking yourself the question of, well, hey, did I allow them to step over that line? Did I make, one of the things I used to say to my clients is, yeah, give me a call anytime. And then they call me at like 9 o'clock at night, and I'm like, seriously? And then, but I said, give me a call anytime. So setting those boundaries and being very clear gives people a clearer picture of how to deal with you and how to work with you. But if you don't tell them, I'd love people to drop into the comments, like, what are the most annoying things that you find where people like catapult themselves across that line of a digital boundary or respect? And then ask yourself, have you made it clear that you have a set of boundaries, that you have a process that you work within? So as an example, if you want to make time for your family, if you don't set that as a boundary, it doesn't happen. Because I always, well, for those that know my history, I had a heart attack at the age of 35. And why? Because I didn't know how to set those boundaries. At the time, I was just like, well, work comes first. I got to just do these things. This is just the way life is. Until I took that step and went, actually, you know what? No, I won't be taking calls on weekends for work, or I won't be, answering my call while I'm at one of my kids' functions, or, but setting those boundaries and making clear so that people know where they stand is so important. Anybody else want to jump in on that?
Yeah, this was, Bobby, I love what you brought up, and the word relationships. One of the questions I want to ask people out there is, how have digital boundaries improved your relationships? Because when you create those boundaries, you're making time for your people in your life that are important to you. When you don't have those boundaries, that's where people like, oh, I missed my kid's soccer game, or I am late for my date with my wife, or I'm late for fun with my friends, because you were so focused. And if you don't set those digital boundaries for yourself, if you get in the flow state, it's very easy. But one of the great examples that we didn't bring up is the digital boundaries that we set on these events that we do all the time. We ask people to be respectful. We ask people to make sure that their equipment works when they show up. We ask them to keep their time limit short usually, or stay on topic, not come up here and sales pitch, and so those are digital boundaries that we've developed and we're practicing. And thank you all for respecting those boundaries. We appreciate that. But those are the things I think we have to remember, is that in a digital world, you got to set boundaries just like you would in your personal world. And I think it's easy to forget that sometimes. The other thing I want to think is some questions for you all to think about in the chat. Have you had to resist a digital boundary, and how did you approach it? And when did you decide to disconnect, and what challenges did you face when you did have that boundary in place? So just some questions for y'all to think about and chew on as we listen to our other guests. Back to you, Mac.
I have a quick question because I just read the word family in the comments. What if your LinkedIn is your family? What advice do you give? Random.
I mean, Martha, if you are bothering me a lot, I'm going to mute you in my DM so your thing doesn't come up all the time. I'm not gonna block you per se unless you become verbally abusive like some family members could. But no, for the most part, I think it applies the same rules apply. I mean, there's some group chats that I'm on. God bless, I love everyone on that group chat. But when they start chatting, I gotta mute it. Because it's just too much. I'm not involved in the conversation, so I don't need to hear the ding, 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 ding. Like,
yeah, and it also happens when you share your phone, for example, and then you get attached to a group chat. I leave the group chats because it's very distracting to get all these dings, just like on LinkedIn, and it's like because you can't mute those. You can't. You have to remove yourself.
Well, you can mute your phone; it would just vibrate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is the big challenge with regards to all the different things that we kind of get drawn into. As Felipe was saying, as you grow on LinkedIn and you get more and more communications, for myself as an example, I can't keep up with all the DMs. So I do make time to allocate to go through and check those. But what I also do is, if it's an important conversation, somebody needs to get hold of me, I will say, hey, I tell you what, WhatsApp me, and we'll continue the conversation there. So that I can actually pull myself away from LinkedIn, because otherwise I love LinkedIn, as everybody knows, but I've got to set those boundaries as to how much time I spend on it. And in the world of instantaneous gratification, like Felipe was saying earlier, where people expect you to respond the moment, like they hit the send button and then they're looking for those little dots to say that you're responding, and they expect it there and then. And if you set that as a default and you're always the quick one to respond, people also then expect you to respond in future as quickly as you can. So one of the things I've started doing is, as an example, if somebody sends me a message, if and when I can, I'll respond and saying, hey, just in a meeting or going into a meeting, I'll respond as soon as I can. And that's it. And I'll just leave it at that, because we've got other commitments and other things that are happening. And for me, time with family, that's now like a priority meeting, because a lot of times I used to assume work always took number one precedent, because that's the provision, providing for the family. But I also learned that if I don't make that as, if not a higher priority, and actually say, hey, I'm in a meeting, because I'm in a meeting with my family. And that's something that you have to, set those boundaries and be okay to do that. Because if you don't look after yourself, all these people that are demanding your time, they're not going to be there when you run out of steam or run out of energy. So if you don't look after yourself, unlikely everybody else that is demanding your time are going to jump up and say, hey, I'll come and help, if that makes sense. So Gregory, my friend, over to you. Quick introduction. What fun fact do you have for us today, and what's your question or contribution? And then we'll go to Jay.
Okay, Gregory Liverpool from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Fun fact, it is basically a skating rink outside with the cold, and then we just came off some type of a warm-up sensation type of thing. So it's basically a massive skating rink here, or we could basically we could play the sport of curling in the streets right now. In regards to the topic du jour, I have an internal one and an external one. The internal one is I have to basically put a focus mechanism on my phone to not read any emails after 8 p.m. local time. In terms of time, today is daylight savings time for people in North America. Please set your clocks ahead 1 hour. If you are able, please flip your mattress and check the battery in terms of your smoke detector devices per se. So without ado, in regards to that nature, because I have one person who is on leave because of a personal situation, emails me at around 10, 10:30, 11, 12 o'clock in the midnight, 12:30, or at times 2 o'clock in the morning in regards to look at stuff. And I'm a volunteer HR journalist for a non-for-profit type of organization. And she emails that profusely, and she could send like 4 or 5 emails in a drop of a hat in regards to look at this, look at that. So it's basically drinking from a fire hose, which is on volume 10 or 11. My external is basically going to be a very controversial one. The use of AI in terms of resumes and in the recruiting process, because the reason I bring that up, because this platform basically semi blew up in regards to a article by the Business Insider in regards to hiring managers are basically garbaging resumes because it's all full of AI slop and regurgitated content that they cannot decipher which person to bring in for the interview and which person to bring in for an offer. I basically put in the comments du jour in regards to that nature, because we are now looking forward in regards to a new type of hiring system, basically a skill-based, that we are skill-based. And this is where I will say optimizing a LinkedIn profile is going to be more advantageous than ever before to differentiate yourself from person A to person B. And it's going to and that's why I will say that we need to have regulations more than ever before in regards to the use of AI, especially in the employment game, since that I will say 70% of employers, according to the Business Insider article, which I know Mark Mack will say, can you please put that in the comment section? I will do that after the show is done, because I made a post on it and stuff in regards to we need to get back to human connections in regards to the use of AI in regards to the recruiting process. So that's all I have to say. But I'll yield the floor.
I just wanted to ask you quickly, with regards to all of the above, with the digital AI and setting up your profile and all those things, what tips have you got for people with regards to digital boundaries for productivity, as an example?
5 words: use it as a tool, not to replace human judgment, which we are right now. And I think that we're on the cusp of breaking the system in regards to recruiting, because everything is basically curated AI stuff that one person by the name of Adam Posner, who has his own podcast and appeared on another podcasting show with Laura Sherman. He basically had the analogy of bot versus bot. Bot resume is competing with bot application tracking system, and it's basically on a collision course. And when that happens, that's going to break the system, and we have to be back to human to human type of interaction and recruiting in the HR world. And that's where we are at this particular juncture moment of time, basically. So
Okay.
we need to course correct immediately, or else it's going to be a hornet set of people saying the same type of stuff, and we're not gonna go nowhere. Basically, it's a nowhere plane to nowhereville, basically, in that
Yeah.
type of thing. So
So
yeah.
I'm just conscious of time. We still want to make sure that we get a few more people up here as well. Gregory, as always, thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
Drop those links. Jedi J, how the heck are you, sir? Quick, for those who don't know you, introduction. What's your fun fact for this week, and what's your suggestions or questions around boundaries in the digital world?
Yeah, so my name is Jay. I'm coming to you from Massachusetts, the U.S. It's cold here in the U.S. right now, in Massachusetts right now, but eventually we're having a warm up. Fun fact about me: I am a sci-fi and superhero geek, so I love everything superheroes and science fiction. And two things I have to say about this topic. Number one is my big boundary that I have as far as digital goes is confidentiality. I think that's really something that we need to remember, because a lot of times many people, and especially in where we are in today's technology, our information is, used in good ways and bad ways, right? I mean, we have a lot of identity theft going on here in the U.S. here, not just in the U.S. but like in general, right? And I think confidentiality is one of my biggest boundaries that I have. Is that when we give our information, we have to be aware of who we're sending that information to, and why are we sending this information. And it is up to us to make sure that that information does not get out into the big world of today. Because in the future, again, like I said, anyone can use your information. And confidentiality is something that I keep in mind every day. My second big boundary is, and although it is a very good thing, is AI. Nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of LinkedIn individuals using AI generated images of themselves. But my big boundary is that I prefer not to have an AI image of myself, because I'm not showing the real me. I like to present myself as the same person, as a human being. I did that once for like a presentation, and that's probably going to be my final time that I'll be used as a AI generated image. But to sum it up, I prefer to have the real me and not an AI generated person, because it's very easy for someone to take your image and make something out of it, and then use it in good ways and bad ways. So that's my two big boundaries. So thank you.
Jay, well, thank you so much for sharing, my friend. And those, both of those are really important things that a lot of people probably, because there's so much noise in the digital world, that they end up forgetting about, number one, that privacy side of things and how much information you're putting out there that people can take. And secondly, the impact of your digital appearance. And it's something, that in fact, if you go into the comments, everybody, and comment, have you seen what you believe to be a AI profile picture on LinkedIn? Because it's something that I'm seeing a lot. And I saw somebody recently where I looked at the picture and I was like, he almost looks like somebody I know while I was scrolling. And I went back and I was like, that is him, but it's not him because of the AI image. It was just so far off. And one of the gentlemen that I had a meeting with a couple of weeks ago, I went to his profile. I said, I haven't seen you around for a while. And he goes, what do you mean? He says, I've been more active than ever, and I've been doing more stuff and posting more stuff. And it had been because I didn't recognize his face in the images because it was an AI image. So I subconsciously already started programming that I'm just moving on if I see an AI type image of somebody's face. And then all of his content had been AI generated. And again, we can all spot it a mile away. So again, it became a scroll past event. So I didn't even realize that he had been putting stuff out. But what I was missing is the type of authentic stuff that where I could really hear his voice before. And now he's replaced himself with somebody who's doing all his stuff for him. And it's so AI impacted that it's lost his personal touch. So he basically becomes irrelevant. So really, really important to think about those things.
Hey, Mac, if I
go for it.
Again, I you all know that I am a big fan of using AI as a tool. Like Gregory said, it's a tool. What I want to remind people also is that when you overuse AI, like Mac's experience, that guy was overusing AI. My perspective, at least, is I start questioning your authenticity. I start questioning what's the real you. If you're not showing up, if all I'm seeing is the AI version of you, I'm not going to be convinced. And some people out there, every post, they're using AI. And it's excessive. And that just makes me question more and more, what's the real you? I don't know who your real you is. And one thing I want to say to Gregory's point about the AI and technology, instead of, one of my favorite quotes has been, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When it comes to bots battling bots, great, let them battle it out. I'm still going to take the human route by networking like we do on the show. I'm going to reach out to people on my LinkedIn connection. I'm going to be persistent and reach out to different ways of connecting with people that work in a company that I want to work for. I'm not going to beat my head against the wall of two bots battling each other, because right now that's the reality. That's what they're doing. So climb the wall, go around the wall, go under the wall, find another way around the wall, because the wall is not going anywhere right now. But again, those are boundaries that we have to recognize, that we may not like them, but we have to create them. So back to you, Mac.
Sure. Well,
I
Layla.
like Coach Kerry Willis's comment just posted right there. I love that.
I'm going to come back to that in a second, Gregory. Thank you so much, my friend. Layla, you've been waiting patiently in the background there. Introduce yourself, fun fact, and what's your contribution, comment, question on today's topic.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Layla's from Vancouver, Canada. So it's been early here. So I still showed up and look decent and professional. So for all of you. So just to grace yourself, right? So I love this conversation. Being in HR, I'm an HR leader for the past 15 years. I'm a certified executive coach. I have a small brand, Splish Splash Handmade product, which is all about self-care and taking care of yourself. And I'll be honest, my boundaries lately with social media is really off, and I can put Coach Kerry on that too, because we've been on too many social media, tagging each other. We're messaging, a lot of people are messaging us. We're doing all these podcasts live and going from one platform to another. So honestly, I'm not really good at it the past 2 weeks, I have to say. So definitely need to learn those boundaries. And I really love this conversation because so basically that was some kind of the fun fact in a way, that we went to try to go live on Substack like 10 times yesterday, and people receive notifications. We keep dropping out from the thing. So people are very patient with us. We're not good with technology. And next upcoming Monday on March 9th, I'm having a live show with Lachelle about burnout. And I think that's a really big, important part, especially as a professional, as a solo or an entrepreneur. I think that I can add this topic that you guys discussed today, that can probably add it as well, because there's also boundaries that can lead you to burnout when you do too much of social media and too much out there. And I think that's just a great segue. So I'm really learning about, maybe more topics that I can add to the conversation. I'm really excited about that. It's my first, I've been saying yes. It's my yes year, as you all know. So I've been saying yes to all these things. So this were the yes, but then also I'm not putting my boundaries. So I'm still navigating that. So be patient with Layla. I'm really trying. This is so new and I'm so excited because it brings so much energy, and I'm having so many great hot chocolate chats. It's unbelievable to meeting all these phenomenal people. So what I've been doing is I meet them, chat with them. It's casual, no sales, no pitch. And then I put a bit of, I take a picture, put them on all my social media because I want to shout out to these phenomenal people, because guess what? Even if the world is chaotic right now, there is still good in the world and there's good people doing great things. And I want to showcase that. So that's it. Thank you.
And Layla, if you want to check out some of the past episodes, you can go to like Google, Spotify, Apple, and you'll see some of the past episodes we tackled here. If you're talking about burnout, I encourage you to check out my YouTube page where I do the Workplace Wellness Hour. The Workplace Wellness Hour I do with Samana Jetty and Ashley Llewellyn, where we talk about the science, the mental, physical, and financial impacts of burnout and things like that. And we have another number of episodes that are specific to burnout. So it might just give you some more content to talk about in case you need
That's
it.
awesome. And Felipe, you still haven't accepted my LinkedIn invite. Just saying.
Oh, Layla, are you serious?
Yes, I've been waiting for weeks.
No. Normally, I do not like people calling me out in public, but this one I deserve it because you and I are chatting, and I feel like I know you too well.
Fired.
But
We're friends. We're friends. It's
Yeah,
a safe space.
we're friends. But if you're not friends, don't call somebody out like that. But here, I respect it because I've talked to Layla way too much not to be connected. So I'm doing it right now, live.
There we go. New connection made.
Good for you, Caleb.
Goodness me. Yeah. I just had to laugh. Layla, well done.
That's what you call a mic drop moment, basically. So we could probably end the show like that. So yeah.
Yeah, if anyone else tries that, it's not going to work. Layla's a special case. So if you all try that, like call cold, ain't going to work. Sorry.
Oh, goodness me. Hey, so folks, we are going to wrap up in the next 5-10 minutes. But we're just making up for the time we lost from the tech issues, and we promised you the full hour. But there we go. Accepted.
Oh, wait. Accept. There you go.
I'm glad you didn't do the reject there.
No, that would have been bad. That's still alive.
Goodness. But again, all of these things are, digital boundaries and communication methodologies, and also understanding and respecting other people's time, and also when you go out, you send messages out. One of the things that to remove a bit of your anxiety and stress, realize that not everybody is on LinkedIn as much as you may be. And this is one of the things that I've found fascinating over the last 5-10 years, is watching how users have changed the amount of time they spend online. But every day I meet people who think that they're really good at LinkedIn because they see what other people do, they copy that, and then little things like DMs, or not putting clear in their about section about being clear on who they serve and what they do. Everybody's at a different stage of learning, and everybody is in that same position where they don't know what they don't know. So don't assume that just because you've sent somebody a message that they've seen it and they've ignored you. Pre-COVID, the average person was spending 17 minutes a month on LinkedIn. Now, yes, there are some of us super users that are there every single day, but if we are on there every day and we expect other people to respond in the same time frames and periods as we do, you are going to be bitterly disappointed. And then go for it, Felipe.
No, I think that's important what you're saying there, because we have to respect the fact that people we have digital detoxes for a reason. There's addiction to social media. there are right now in Congress, the head of Meta is being questioned about their addiction qualities that they intentionally put in to social media to get children addicted to it. So when people are trying to take a break from it, understand that and respect that. Now, one last tip I will share that was an accidental tip, which I am still laughing. I'll grab my wife's phone and she'll grab my phone. We have no problem, using our phones for something if we need it. And she was having an issue with her phone. I fixed it for her. And all of a sudden, like 2 days later, she's like, why do I have an hour and a half limit on my social media? And I started laughing. I go, I swear I didn't do that. And I did. I did not do that. I swear. And I go to fix it and it asked for a code. So I put in her code that she has. It didn't work. I tried a different code. Didn't work. I'm like, what other codes do you have? She couldn't figure it out. So for like 4 weeks, she only was permitted 90 minutes a day on social media. She was an avid TikTok user. I think after this, she realized she might have had a little of addiction because she was just realized she was on it way too much. Now, she found out from YouTube how to fix it. She fixed it, and now she's back, but she can tell she's not on it as much. So I'm saying that to people that when someone doesn't respond to you, it might be because they need that break, or they might just simply miss that message and it's buried. And until they hit what I do, unread, you're like, oh shit, forgive my language, but I missed this like 4 months ago, and I'll still respond. So back to you, Mac.
All good. Well, before we wrap up, Jay's got his hand up there in the background. Felt like I'm back at school. Yes, sir. Jay, what's your comment and question there, my friend?
Yeah, I just wanted to say one more thing. I think one of the other things that we have to keep in mind is back on what Felipe just talked about, which is about how the CEO of Facebook is being, testifying about, addiction and all that stuff. But I think the main thing that comes to my mind is responsibility. I think responsibility really plays a key factor in all that, because what we do on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, right? What we do in social media is on us, and we are responsible for we're responsible for what we do with it, right? What we post, what we say, what we comment on, what we put a picture of, everything, and what we, like I said, what we say online on the platform, right? All those things are on us. And if we are not responsible for those actions, then what will happen to that individual can have very bad consequences. So again, responsibility and consequences, those two vocabulary words need to be kept in mind. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for letting me make that comment.
Awesome stuff, Jay. And, thank you for always picking those real relevant points that are so important that, a lot of us sometimes take for granted or forget. So wrap up time. I've got to go save some fish. Fun fact. But with that, so it's been a good conversation, and I hope that it's got just in the back of your mind a few things that may have triggered to kind of go, maybe I need to look at things differently, or maybe I don't need to take things as personally when people don't respond, or maybe I need to set more clearer boundaries so that other people know how they can respect me. Because if you don't tell them what's important to you, how are they supposed to know? So really, go out, think about it, drop some comments, share some of the kind of hacks that you use as things that help you, or tools that you use to help you stay on track and stay focused, and make sure that you don't go down a rabbit hole like so many of us can easily do. So thank you for joining us this week. I'm going to go to our co-hosts to just let us know what's coming up for them this week, how you can support them. And for those of you, I'm not going to tell you where it is. You need to go and find it. I'm going to share a comment in today's comment thread where you can go and find a QR code that you can go and scan and get access to my new app, which is all about helping you become the go-to expert on LinkedIn with some basic checklists of things that you may not even think that you need to do on a regular basis to keep your profile relevant and also grow your reach with the right people, not just irrelevant people. But there's also a special little feature which I've put in so that you can find out how many of your connections you've either never messaged or only ever messaged once with that typical thanks for connecting, because you may have 5, 10, 20,000 connections, but in reality, if you want to find out how many of those you've actually developed relationships with, this app is going to help you do that too. But I'll drop it into the comments. It's a little bit sly. You're going to have to go search for it, which means you have to like other people's comments that have joined today or respond to their comments and see how focused you stay, trying to find the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Anyway, with that, I'm going to go to Felipe. Felipe, you can pass the mic on and then we'll wrap it up.
All right. So, first of all, thank you all for joining us today. It's been a great Saturday. I appreciate everyone who shared their insight, their questions, and their experiences. Mac, I did send you my email to send me the app. I can't wait to try that. I mean, you get to have the LinkedIn expert in your back pocket in your phone. That's pretty special, y'all. That's amazing. So I look forward to using it. Check it out. As far as what I have coming up, tomorrow I have the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching, where we're going to be talking about workplace relationships and how to deal with conflict and maybe turn conflict into collaborations. A lot of people in the workplace try to avoid conflict. They don't realize that sometimes conflict can be good if it's respectful. And there's a way to turn that conflict into collaborations. Part of the reason that Melissa Houston and I collaborate is that we do have a lot of conflicts about how we do things. We get to the same destination, but she might want to take the country road and I might want to take the highway. So it's just about having the ability to learn how to deal with conflict instead of avoiding it. If that appeals to you, join us tomorrow for the Careers, Chaos, and Coaching at 11 a.m. Eastern here on my channel. And after that, I will be back here with this amazing crew next Saturday for another wonderful episode of Social Saturday Chat. And with that, I will pass it on to, and I'll also remind you all, check out Miranda and Max, the children's book. If you have a child, a friend who has kids, a goddaughter, a nephew, niece, great book, but it's also going to be available in Spanish. So that's coming out by Monday. Check it out if you have somebody that might appreciate that or they want to learn Spanish. Thank you for that. Martha, over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys holding the fork up today. I've been under the weather, friends, so hanging in there. Tomorrow I do have a busy week, so I got to get better. On Sunday, I will be live with Dr. Tanya and Damien for we're doing a live event, Meet the Presenters. And Felipe is also going to be part of that event.
I'll be on Tuesday. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
So please join us so you can get to know us a little bit more and see what the event's all about. And then on Monday, I will be on Just Jax and Guests, and Annie will be on as well. So please come on over and join us. And then I'll be here checking in and not scrolling so much and, holding my boundaries. I also wanted to just share a quick little tip too, because I've been connecting, also. And recently I had received a link and I had clicked on the link. And after I clicked on the link, my computer went black, like the whole screen. So now I'm kind of hesitant about clicking on links. So just be careful, guys. as you're meeting people, like I think I would recommend just get to know people before you click on any links. Okay, just be safe.
Martha, great advice. I'd be remiss if I forgot to mention the virtual wellness experience. So thank you for bringing that up. I'm actually going to put a copy of the link. It's a safe link, y'all, to the website for the virtual wellness experience in case you want to learn more about it. It's an annual event. It's been the 4th year that's been happening. I've spoken at 3 of the events, and it really is a wonderful way to learn so much from different experts from different parts of the world, different parts of life, and different industries, sharing information about overall wellness. So I'm putting that in the chat right now as we speak. And back to you, Mac.
Well, another Social Saturday chat comes to an end. It has been fantastic to see so many regular faces as well as some new people in the comments. Thank you all for joining us. We have had people join us from Bangladesh to Mexico to all over the US and Canada and loads of other fascinating places that we don't normally see arrive on here. So, we want to keep growing Social Saturday Chat to an international global community. And if you've got topics that you want us to come and speak about, please let us know. I have dropped a comment. I won't tell you where, but it's in there somewhere with the QR code and a little bit of information. Don't tell everybody about it. It's still in the beginning phases. But at the same time, Bobby, I'll be joining you with my birthday, but I'll be in the US. And I won't say much, but it is a big landmark birthday. And if you can guess my age, should be fairly easy. Drop it in the comments. But 2 weeks from now.
You said you were turning 70, right?
Close. You know who your friends are.
I just
No
want him to
way.
be. I just want him to be older than me. All right, that's all it is.
Yeah, I'm not going to respond to that, Felipe. It's just anyway. I will be joining you guys. I think it's the 19th. I'm not sure if that's a Saturday, but if it is, I'll be joining you anyway. But wishing everybody an incredible week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. And we'll be on StreamYard next week just to keep it easy and simple and make sure it damn well works. Anyway, with that, Joel has dropped off, so I'm not sure where he's gone, but he might be fighting with the other platform somewhere in the background. That's it. Has everybody gone? Yes, they have. Thank you so much, everybody. Go and have an incredible week, and we'll see you soon.
Adios, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Ciao.